Hello and welcome back. My name is Reb. If you're new here, I'm an artist based in Texas. I do a little bit of everything. I work in painting, drawing, I make lino cuts, and today we are going to be looking at my visual journal. I started this visual journal at the beginning of the year and I've been keeping up with it ever since. I've been drawing every day since January 1st. So we'll be looking at February's entries. Let's go over to the top-down view. All right, so here's my journal. This sticker is by Isabel. This little charm is by me. And let's hop in. So we're going to start somewhere around where I left off. I think we may have covered this day, so we'll skip that one. This was a opening that I actually had a piece in, so we went as a family to see that, and it was really cool. There was some really neat art in that exhibition. I didn't write the artist names down, but I know this one is my friend, so. And then we went out for dumplings after that. Next day was a Thursday. We had art hang party that day. We drew like 50 monkeys. I don't think it was 100, but it was a lot of monkeys. I didn't actually finish it, but I had fun while I got to do some drawing. The next day, I really did not get very much done that day. It was an awful day. February 1st was hourly comic day, so I made an hourly comic. I didn't film very much of that process. I think I made like a little short reel. But yeah, I forgot my phone that day, and it just made for a really weird day. After that, it was a day that I took my son to work for a little while. So we played a little bit in the office while we waited for his grandma to pick him up, and that was pretty fun. That being said, it was kind of a weird day. There was like some protests going on and stuff, which, trust me, if I didn't have him with me, I probably would have joined them. Next day was, we played at home. My son was being a little maniac that day, so we played hide and seek and ran around outside. He drove his little four-wheeler and stuff. It was really kind of a fun day. The next day was a day off, and my friend, who usually is working on that day, happened to have the day off, so we went to this park that was like super far away. There was so much traffic to get there, but the park itself was really nice. It was like construction themed, and they had a great time. The day after that, did some projects, did the kind of usual groceries and such. We had swatched some oil pastels that I had found in my storage unit, and I've been pretty much using them ever since. Not in here, but in other stuff. After that was a Thursday. We drew some ridiculous people in bird costumes, which was so fun. We had like a little meeting / birthday party for all of the February birthdays that day. And then when I got home, we made tacos, and my son was being so silly. He was biting holes in the tortillas and wearing them as a mask. So I couldn't resist kind of drawing that in as a memory. The next day I had to work, but it was my birthday, and I went and got free Starbucks coffee, which I don't even really drink a whole lot of Starbucks, but hey, it's free. I called it a little bit of an early day and went home, and my in-laws took us for Mexican food, which is always fun. The day after that, I had to work an event, and I didn't get much done that day because it was super busy. But I did draw the band that was playing, which was really good. And at least that was like a little bit of a highlight to my day. Day after that, same thing, just a really heavy, like, working type day where I was just putting out fires all day. The day after that, I had some of the weirdest dreams that I've had in a long time. It's like my reminder to like not eat chocolate before bed. I don't know, it was such a weird dream. And then we went over to my mom's house, and she made my favorite like Cuban food and this cake that I really love. And Orion helped her make it, which was really nice. And, it's funny, it's my birthday, but of course there were presents for my son because there's always presents for your grandchild. And she gave him this like bouncy ball thing, and he was just having a blast with it. The next day was just a typical, like, do groceries and stuff type day, but it was, I don't know, my son was going through the fields. And it was so funny because we went to the grocery store and he was just asking everybody all these questions, which, is obviously adorable and stuff. But I was just like, oh my God, he's going to annoy everybody. But there was this one lady that just sat there and answered every single thing that he asked. And it was so cute. And she was such a saint. Next day, I was going through the feels that day. Probably lack of sleep / just, I don't know. But very, very kind of slow day. And the end of the day, we called it a night early, and that did help. The next day was my Monday. Just a lot of meetings and really just not a lot going on until pretty much art hang party. And yeah, we drew Valentine's Day cards that day. Next day was Valentine's Day. I was working that day, but I got home as quick as I could to see my family, and we just had kind of a regular night. I'm not really a big Valentine's Day person, but my son put on a little puppet show, which was really cute, and then he was jumping off of his bed. So, pretty funny. The next day, I was having a day with video editing. Not a fan. And then it's just like a bunch of errands that I had to run and stuff. Nothing really exciting happening that day. But we all watched some cartoons in bed that night, and that was really nice. On this day, I ended up going over to the museum. It was the last day for Gauguin, so it was packed. I picked up some stuff from my storage unit, which included a bunch of beads. So I ended up making some little charms for some of my sketchbooks and stuff. I thought this one came out pretty cute. Little donut and a bow. So that evening I made garbanzos. That turned out so good. And, then we just had our regular kind of bath night. Monday, I worked from home, and sometimes if I don't have a lot going on at work, I will work on the home. So I did a lot of like house repairs, little things that needed to be fixed, and some laundry. I really love this spread so much. I drew that anglerfish because I literally cannot stop thinking about that freaking anglerfish. I don't know why. I'm still thinking about that anglerfish. But anyways, I drew it in ink, and I hadn't used ink in a while. That's what happens when you like don't have stuff on your desk. It's on my like messy desk, so I don't see it as often, but I forgot how much I loved using ink, so I'll be bringing those back around. I also drew everything we ate that day, which is one of Teresa's prompts on her 52 creative things in 52 weeks, which I need to cross off. But we had waffles in the morning, tostadas for lunch, and then I made peanut butter noodles at night, and Orion loved them. I mean, he was shoving them in his mouth by the handful. He ate 3 bowls of noodles. Wild. And then we took some of his money from his piggy bank and went and bought some Play-Doh. The next day, I don't know, ADD, my brain was being spicy, and I got into one of those like have to clean everything moods. So I don't know. It was a weird day, but altogether I really liked the spread. The next day, my hairdryer of 102 years died. I've had that thing for so long. Props to Conair for making, I guess, a really good hairdryer. I just ended up buying pretty much the same model, except updated, obviously. And then I had a after work art date, which I went to the museum and also went to this workshop where my friend was co-hosting, and she was talking about artists in the Fauvist movement, and then we did kind of like a painting in that style, and it was so fun. So I'm definitely going to try to join some more of her workshops. Day after that, I was running late, even though I had a meeting, so half the meeting was in my car on the way there, and then the rest of it was at my job. My hair was crazy that day, I guess because of the whole hairdryer fiasco. And then when I got home, my son was just so hyped up. His grandparents had taken him and they had gotten cotton candy. It was ridiculous. Okay, we have a special guest. Don't mind the toddler noises. So yeah, like I was saying, grandparents sent him home full of sugar, so he was extra wild that night. Next day was a pretty chill day. I had coffee with a friend, ate some pizza, and we watched Bug's Life, which Orion has not really watched a lot of like full-length cartoons, but he seemed to really like that one. After that, there was a lunar festival. We had some steamed bao. I went to an Ikebana demo. That was really cool. And then I started my 100-day project, which we will talk about in the next video. Next day was a annoying day. I had to go into work on a day that I usually don't and do an interview, and it was just annoying because there was so much traffic and stuff. But later that night, we cooked some sweet potatoes and sausage and corn, and Orion had an awesome time eating the corn.
And sausage too.
And sausage too.
Where are those tracks from?
That's from when we went to the park. So anyways, we called it an early night, and the next day...
Maybe those ones for chickens.
They do look like chickens, but those, they were too big. So they were probably maybe a crane or a heron. A bigger bird.
A heron.
Okay, so the next day we went to the park. We walked down some trails. The weather was so pretty that I was like, we have to go and have like a picnic and stuff. So we had a picnic, we played at the playground, and over by the river there were some tracks, probably raccoons and birds, like herons or cranes or something. Next day we went to the we went to an estate sale and they had this cool snake that was made out of wood. That was pretty neat. It was very expensive, so it's not coming home with us. We went to the library and played with some toys, and then made some Mexican food for dinner. The next day, I was feeling a little stressed.
How you get stressed, Mommy? How you get stressed on that page?
How did I get stressed on this page?
Yeah.
Well, adulting. Adulting is the answer to that, sir. A lot of adulting happened. And I think that's the end. Yep. So we will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching and bearing with you yawning, bearing with the interruptions. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Say bye.
Bye.